Hey everyone, it's Shar. We are going to get started here pretty soon, in a couple of minutes. Welcome to our live Facebook recording of my Balance Your Chakras with Essential Oils webinar. And it does go into emotions also, so that's why your chakras are your emotions, or a lot of it is very interrelated. So we're going to get started here in just a minute. I don't know about you, but this time change is kicking my butt. It's been brutal. The dog is waking us up at 5+ in the morning, and then we have my daughter's twins, and she said the same thing. They're keeping her up, waking her up super early in the morning. We're all like, OMG, oh dear. So that combined with my travel, I'm feeling like I just graduated from Diamond Club. I suppose it always is Diamond Club when you're a diamond, right? I will get started here. It is 6:29, and I'm hoping that we have more people join us. But in the meantime, I will get going. This is a live recording, and I will have the actual Zoom webinar recording that I can share on our YouTube page. You can find us at Russ N. Shar Brown. So Russ and then the letter N and Shar Brown on YouTube. It's public, so you can go there and see all of our classes. But I will add this one to it as soon as it processes. It takes these things a little while to go. So as soon as it gets processed, I will add this video to the library of ones that we currently have for you to use and benefit from. So this class is really, really fun. I think it's very interesting, very intriguing, and I am very excited about how we can learn to control our emotions with our chakras and vice versa. So let's get started with this. And oh, hold on real quick. I need my water. Hold on. Be right back. BRB, as we tell Cleo. That's what we tell Cleo all the time when we leave the house. We tell her, BRB, Cleo. How many of you guys do that with your dogs? You tell your pets that you're going to BRB. Okay. Let's get down to business here. Darn. Frog in my throat, like allergies, All right, let's get going with balancing your chakras using essential oils. I'll give you a little bit of insight into my story. I am a diamond with doTERRA. I've been a diamond for 3 years. I've been involved with doTERRA and using oils for 5 years, a little over 5 years now. And gosh, feels like yesterday. I began to learn about chakras just this summer. I was involved in a 26-day intensive yoga teacher training here in Fort Collins, where I went I learned yoga. I'm a registered teacher with the Yoga Alliance. I actually have a class on Wednesday night I'm teaching, and I don't do it for profit. My classes are free. I just like to get people moving. It's part of my my doTERRA journey and my passion. So anyway, so when I was in yoga class, yoga teacher training, kind of like when I was at band camp, for those of you who've ever watched that movie. Anyway, when I was in yoga teacher training, they touched on chakras. This was something that we spent, I don't know, maybe 3 hours on learning about, and I was very intrigued by this. And so I've been doing some further research and more study on it, and I found this. This is actually a Synduit webinar. So Synduit, they own the rights to this. So this one, I cannot share the PowerPoint with you. But if you are a Synduit user, you can go in there and check it out. And I will post the completed video, the webinar, the Zoom webinar, on our YouTube channel, as I stated earlier. So that is how I got started with chakras, how I became intrigued by them. Russ was laughing at me because on what day was that? Thursday, Russ? I read a book, like a 200-page book I read in an afternoon. And he's like, how do you do that? I don't know. I'm a book person. I love books. I love knowledge. I'm that weirdo that likes the way the library smells. And I love the way books smell, and I like the feel, I like the paper. And the older the book is, the better it smells. We ought to come out with an essential oil that smells like book, old book. Anyway, that's just me. I am a book person. I'm a nerd. I can't focus with audio books, and I can't do it on a computer or a reader. You know, they have those little Nooks, the little e-reader things. I tried that. I just can't focus on it. I love books. I like to write in books. It's another thing that I do that really bothers us. All of our books have writing in them. I write notes, I underline, I highlight. So that is how I've come to learn about chakras. And there are more books out there, and I'll probably read even more books as I go along here. But let's get started with learning about chakras. There are a lot of misconceptions out there about chakras. Let's just start with that. Some people think chakras are evil, and it's not true. It's not true. I just wanted to tell you that I'm happy to have you watch this with me. I'm happy to have you if you're joining me live. That makes me happy too. I love to not be alone on my webinars. But I really enjoy passing along information and education. And so I'm very happy that you've taken the time out of your day to sit down and watch this with me, whether you're watching it after the fact or you're watching it live with me. Thank you very much for giving me your time, and I'm hoping that I will give you some value for the time that you've invested. So let's talk about, I have some basic things that I want to talk to you about doTERRA and essential oils, and then we will go right into the chakras. And so why doTERRA? If you were in front of me and we were doing a live one-on-one, I would ask you, why do you think doTERRA? What makes doTERRA so special compared to other essential oils? Because there are lots of companies out there. You have a lot of choices. So doTERRA is very special because of how we doTERRA. doTERRA takes great pride in providing a most tested, most trusted essential oil. Our essential oils are pure. They are lab tested. Every batch of oil after it's distilled comes into the warehouse and gets tested. It actually gets tested in the field before it even leaves. Then when it hits the warehouse, there's more layers of testing. And then after that, they send it out to independent labs for testing, because it's so important to make sure that you are using the most pure essential oil. There is no regulation of the essential oil industry by federal regulation. And so this is a problem. This is a problem because there are a lot of essential oil companies out there who've jumped on the bandwagon. There are candle companies who claim they have 100% pure essential oils. There are makeup companies that say they have essential oils. They're all over the place. You can get them down at your local supermarket. And the problem in that is that they are not trusted. They are not pure. They are not laboratory tested. And so this poses a basic problem in that you don't know what kind of purity you're getting. And when you purchase doTERRA essential oils, you can be guaranteed to know that you are giving your family a very pure essential oil. And this is a very, very important fact when we are putting essential oils on our families. So make sure that you are buying the most pure essential oil, doTERRA. All right, I'm not going to watch my video because it never goes. It never runs for me, so I'm not even going to bother putting it on there. I tried it even in a live event on Saturday, and it started to play, and we could hear the audio, but we couldn't hear the video. So, you know, technical difficulties are always a reality in this world. I'm going to open this really quickly. I'm sorry, I'm looking away from you. I am going to make sure I can answer questions from our Learn and Share group. And where is the video? Here we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take the volume all the way down so that it does not compete with me. When you purchase doTERRA. There we go. Okay. All right. Now I can see questions. If you guys have questions, you can either post them on Facebook or you can join the webinar live and you can post them in the chat. So, all right, so source to you, back to our thing that makes doTERRA very special. This is one of them. Sourcetoyou.com is a website that you can go and you can take the inventory labeling, the little numbers on the bottom of the oil bottle here. See those? You can take those numbers and put them into the Source to You website. That was my balance. Love my balance. I put it on right before we got going here, as well as my passion of passion. These are the oils for today. Every day is different with Char. I always have different oils. And good old peppermint. There we go. Those are the ones I used before I got on this webinar. Anyway, and maybe I need more peppermint because I'm kind of going squirrely. All right, here we go. Put some peppermint under my nose. All right, so Source to You is a website that you can go in and actually check sourcing of the essential oils. So that little bottle of balance, it has the numbers on the bottom. You can put those numbers into the sourcetoyou.com website, and it will bring up information related to this specific batch of essential oils. I would encourage you to go there. There's tons of information that is available on this website about sourcing, about distillation and harvesting. The growers have information in here. The harvesters have information in here. There's lab information in here. So it's a very, very valuable place for you to go investigate doTERRA's essential oils. This is what makes doTERRA special, just one of many, many things that makes doTERRA special. Let's talk about use of essential oils. There are 3 methods of use for doTERRA. This is not common for all essential oils, but this is specific to doTERRA. Okay, so the 3 methods are, first one is aromatic. You just saw me put peppermint underneath my nose, right? So what am I getting right there? I'm getting an aromatic benefit from the peppermint inside of my my scent receptors in my nose. Okay, so aromatic use of essential oils is the fastest way to get a benefit. The scent receptors in our nose have related receptors on all of the organs in our whole body. And so it immediately sends signals to those organs to react a certain way because of that peppermint essential oil that I just used aromatically. You could also put a drop in your hand, so aromatic use, balance in my hand, and we can rub the oil together in our hands and then just cup our hands and just inhale it. Putting it on the back of your neck is a way to use essential oils topically, okay? So when you put them on the back of your neck, anywhere on your body, on the bottoms of your feet, wherever you are having some occasional discomfort, you put the oils there. That's a topical use. Just remember, when you're using essential oils topically, I have oregano on the screen here to remind me, when you're using essential oils topically, there are some oils that are a little spicy, hot, to the naked skin, and so you're going to want to use a fractionated coconut oil or another carrier oil when you use the hot essential oils, of which oregano is one. Also, when you're using essential oils on your children, you're always going to want to dilute them and put them on the bottoms of their feet or along the spine, where they can't, rub them, touch them, and then get it in their eyes and ears and nose and things like that. So that is a topical use of essential oil. And then the third way we use essential oils is internally. And internally is a very, very special way to use essential oils. It is a very specific way and an overall whole body effect. When you use essential oils internally, typically for me, using them internally is because I am targeting some pretty major physical issues going on in my body. And I use them internally every single day. So an internal use of essential oils is very specific, however, to doTERRA, because the other companies do not do the lab testing, and therefore they do not guarantee or know that they have a pure product that is safe for internal use. So this is very specific to doTERRA. Personally, I would not use any other essential oil internally, topically, or aromatically other than doTERRA. There's lots and lots of documentation for why about that. All right, so let's get started here. Let's move into this. What is a chakra? Okay, this was my big question. What is a chakra? Okay. And I have my notes over here, so I'm going to be referring to my notes. This is only the third time I've taught this class, and I'm still learning. So I'm with you guys in this. We are learning as we go along, and on our journey together, we're all going to get all of this information down. So, excuse me. So what is a chakra? So you know the feeling that you get sometimes that's a gut feeling? That is kind of like your intuition. That is a chakra feeling. That is a chakra energy. When you get goosebumps, you get the goosebumps because something amazing just happened to somebody near you, or you heard that something amazing happened to somebody, and you get the goosebumps for them. That is chakra energy. That's it right there. That's all it is. It's not witchcraft. It's not voodoo. It's not anything crazy like that. It is simply the energy in your body communicating to you. Okay. Let's see. Another way to describe a chakra is when you get so excited with butterflies, you feel choked up maybe, and you want to say something, but the words won't come. Have you ever been like that? That's chakra energy, and what that is chakra out of balance, okay? Or when you feel the pounding in your chest, okay? A lot of people have a fear of speaking, and they get that, your chest is just, your heart's about to beat out of your chest, or when you get excited. For me, driving in the snow does that to me. It's supposed to snow up here tonight. I'm doing the anti-snow dance, though I did bake brownies. So that's always my thing I do when it snows, because I'm housebound for a little while, so I'm going to eat brownies. Why not? So chakra energy are experiences of energy in your body. That's all it is. We are energetic beings. We have electrical current that exists in our bodies, and our cells require that energy to reproduce and rejuvenate, okay? That's all it is. It's chakra energy. Chakra is a fancy word that means wheels of light or energy in Sanskrit. That's all it is. There's no voodoo here. Some other examples of when you might have felt your chakra energy enveloping you is the first time you held your child. I know the first time I held my kids, it was an amazing feeling that you can never, ever put words to. So that's another one. How about your first kiss? Do we all remember our first kiss, and we had the butterflies in our, kind of in your solar plexus area right here, right below the rib bones? That is your chakra energy at work right there. So I have a couple of questions for you that I want you to ponder as we go through this. I want you to think of some different experiences that you may have had like that, where you felt those powerful energy feelings in your body. And I want you to think about how it felt. What was it like? What did it feel like? Excuse me. Got to get some more water. Okay. So, what exactly are chakras? I hit the wrong button. Sorry. What exactly are chakras? Okay, so chakras are concentrations of energy and or nerve plexus in a particular area. So there are 7 of them along our body. So think about those little button batteries that are in our kids' toys, those little batteries. They're like that. They're little invisible, rechargeable batteries in your body. And we're only going to talk about the 7 that go along the spine, the 7 main chakras that follow along the spine. But there are also chakra points at every joint in your body. And so in reality, there are over 222 of these, and they influence your health. They influence your emotions, and they influence the feelings that you get in your body. So they strongly influence the physical health of your body as well as your emotions. And we know that our emotions can cause physical reactions in our body. So chakra also does the same thing. What's really interesting is this idea of chakra energy, that the body is comprised of both physical form and energy, has been around for over 5,000 years. And what's really interesting is a lot of people have labeled this as New Age. New Age. That's New Age, Shar. No, it's actually really old, ancient age. It's been around for thousands of years, this study of chakra energy. And what's really even more cool is that there are studies that are going on right now at different universities where they're studying both chakra energy and the use of Reiki, which is the laying on of hands, for healing purposes for people who are very sick and having a lot of difficulties in their body. So they're studying this in Western medicine. So there definitely is something to it. Definitely, for sure, something to it. So again, the chakras start from the root chakra, which is at the base of your pelvic bones down there, your lower center. That is your chakra at the root. And it goes from that root chakra all the way up out the top of your head, which would be considered your crown chakra. And they follow along the back of your spine, okay, your spinal column. What's really interesting too is that chakras are sometimes referred to as lotus flowers. It's the image, I think, that they're looking for here, how lotus flowers close and they open, close and open. And the thing that I think is really cool is that lotus flowers actually come from very dark, muddy, murky waters, and they grow out of a place into this beautiful flower that you wouldn't think life would be there. And so the chakra energy has been likened to the lotus flowers. So that's why you'll see a lot of lotus flowers in reference to chakras. And so here's what you need to know. When a chakra is closed, the energy cannot travel through the chakra to the rest of your body, so it becomes blocked. It becomes blocked energy. That blocked energy is what can lead to physical and emotional problems for the individual. Some of those problems are like back pain or stiffness. Very interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. And if you go and study this and go get some information, you will be very, very opened to a lot of really wonderful concepts. So what your chakra body does is it connects your spiritual energy in your body to your physical one. Okay, like I said, butterflies, getting chills. I had goosebumps. We had an amazing woman that hit diamond rank on the 31st on Halloween. And when I was talking to her on the phone, I had goosebumps. I had goosebumps for her. I was excited. That energy, that's what that translates into. And I know we've all felt this. The butterflies that you get when you're nervous, that nervous energy, that is your chakra energy, and we can control this. We absolutely can control this. So let's go ahead and start talking about the chakras specifically. If a chakra becomes out of balance and uses too much energy, your body organs can become overworked and get overheated and overloaded. So kind of think about adrenal fatigue. Adrenal fatigue is a sign of a blocked chakra. And we're going to actually show you which one it is that relates to that. It's amazing how all of this works. And once I was open to it and I read and did some research, I just couldn't believe how interrelated all of this is. You know, God created our bodies to be self-healing. I say this all the time, and it is the truth. But we have to be open-minded enough to accept the fact that our bodies can be self-healing, and we need to use things that we can help our bodies heal with, okay? So we're going to go over the basics of each chakra, which I've got the root chakra here up on the screen. And what I want to do is I want to try to help you learn how to balance your chakras, because on the screen here, I have excessive characteristics and deficient. And the idea is that we probably, because we are humans and we're imperfect, have deficiencies in both of these areas, okay? We probably are excessive in some and deficient in others. The idea in this is to find balance, and we're going to try to use essential oils to get that balance, to gain the balance back, okay? Because we're kind of like a teeter-totter, and sometimes we're leaning more this way, and sometimes we're leaning more this way, and the idea is that we really want alignment, right? We want alignment and balance, and by working with our bodies and listening to our bodies, we can help them find some healing with these root chakra, or with these chakras, with the chakra energy, okay? We can unblock and open it up and become more balanced. And using our essential oils to help us become more balanced is going to have a great emotional and physical benefit for us. So here are a couple of questions I want you to think about while we're going through this. Which of these chakras do you think of your own personal, we're not talking about anybody else but you, and you can make some notes, write it down, but which of these chakras do you think might be out of balance for you, and why? And then secondarily, do you have emotional or physical symptoms to match what I'm going to discuss with you for each chakra? Just get your note paper out and make some notes, because I think you're going to be really intrigued by this like I was. When I started going through it, I went, oh my gosh, this makes sense. Oh my gosh, Russ, this makes so much sense, right? So let's talk about the root chakra. All right, first of all, where is the root chakra? The root chakra is located, remember, we're talking about the back side of your spine, so your back. So the root chakra is located at the base of your spine, okay? It represents our groundedness to the physical world. Okay, it also represents our survival instinct and self-preservation. And so what I like to say is I challenge you to take your flippin' shoes and socks off and go walk in the grass. We're going to get snow. It would probably be really good for me to go walk in the snow barefoot tomorrow. I'm not talking about like walking for 20 minutes. I'm just talking about going out and just stepping on Mother Earth, on the ground, because there are minerals and positive and negative ions that we get that travel up through our feet that we need, right? When we were little kids, did we not play in the mud? Yes, we did. That was part of becoming grounded. We used to run barefoot in the grass. We ran barefoot on the beach when I was a little kid. Ocean water is super grounding. So is stream water. So take off your shoes and socks and put your feet on the earth and just ground yourself. If you do this for just 5 minutes a day, every day, you will be much more grounded. For real. This is real, you guys. It's so amazing. The associated anatomy with the root chakra, this is very interesting, okay? And we're talking about the associated anatomy because the root chakra represents certain things in our body. And I want you to be aware of the anatomy so that you can go, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with issues in that area of the anatomy. Maybe my chakra in that area is blocked. And how can we unblock it? And I'm going to give you some essential oil tips for that. So the associated anatomy for the root chakra is spine, legs, feet, colon, adrenal glands, adrenal fatigue, fight or flight, and colon and adrenal glands. That's the associated anatomy that has to do with root chakra. So if you're dealing with issues in any of those areas, you might have a closed off or blocked root chakra. The physical element that goes with the root chakra is earth. Okay, it makes sense, Mother Earth, right? We got to get grounded. The bodily functions that can be negatively impacted by excessive and deficient root chakra characteristics, which you can see on the screen, the bodily functions that can be affiliated with that is cell production, okay, so think immune system, right, as well as digestive system, okay? These are the two bodily functions that are directly impacted by root chakra out of balance, that it may be blocked. And so look at the excessive and deficient characteristics. And if you have even just one or two of these, you might have an unbalanced or blocked chakra in your root. The other thing that's really interesting to know about chakras is to note the color. So this color is red. The root chakra is red. And the feeling is on this, that when you are feeling like you have a blocked root chakra, if you wear red and if you eat red fruits and vegetables, it will help. The exposure to the red is part of the secret. It's very interesting. And color is very powerful on us. It's powerful for our mood, right? It directly impacts our mood. So they suggest that when you're dealing with a blocked or imbalanced root chakra, to use red in your world. So wear red clothing, eat red fruits and vegetables, and this will help kind of bring it back into balance. But as well, you can also use these essential oils to help support your unbalanced root chakra. So interesting, balance. Look at that. Balance is one of the centering, grounding essential oils. It's the grounding blend. I use balance a lot. I really, really, really enjoy my balance essential oil. Basil is another one for core support, and your core is your spine, right? Frankincense. I'm not doing very well again with my words, Russ. Frankincense to empower your self-connection, right? We need to be self-connected. Myrrh is the mother oil, right? So connect to Mother Earth. Patchouli for grounding, and vetiver for calming and centering. Very cool. So let's take a look at these characteristics one more time, okay? So do you happen to have any of these excessive or deficient characteristics? Right? Excessive spending, resistance to change, slow moving. I always think of a sloth here, right? Heaviness, overeating, hoarding, materialistic, workaholic, disconnected, underweight, restlessness, spaciness, fixation, flightiness, fear, anxiety, right? So what does a balanced root chakra look like? I'm going to take you back over here to the supporting oils, but what do you think a balanced root chakra would look like, knowing what the deficient and excessive characteristics are? So groundedness would be a really good indication of a supported and balanced root chakra, groundedness. Physical health, so having good physical health, being in basic good physical health, being comfortable in your own body, right? I think a lot of us deal with that, and I think that women more primarily than men, we deal with these body issues. Having a sense of safety and security, knowing that our God above is not going to leave us. He's not going to forsake us. He's here for us, and He's here providing us safety and security. And stability, having a good livelihood, right? Being lively. Having an abundance and a prosperity mindset is the sign of a good balanced root chakra. How about the ability to be still? Do we have the ability to be quiet and sit in silence and maybe meditate or pray without having all of the outside stuff bombarding us, right? Constant interaction. And this one is my favorite. I love this. I think that we all need to practice more of this, being present in the moment. We need to focus on this moment and live right now, because the past is gone. We can't change the past. There's nothing we can do about it. And the future hasn't happened yet. And being that one of my gifts, one of my strengths is futuristic thinking, this one is a big challenge for me, trying to just be present right now and not thinking about what I need to do tomorrow, what I need to do 2 weeks from now, and what is going to happen in my future. That's a real struggle for me. So I think this is a really good call for us to try and be present and be in the moment. These little things right here, these cell phone thingies, they're a problem. It keeps us from being in the moment, right? So I think a really good idea is for us to practice, especially with our children and our grandchildren and our family and our friends. Pay attention to them. Notice what they're saying, right? Make sure that you're in the moment and that you're present with them. And that's a sign of a positively balanced root chakra when you have the ability to do that. Here are some questions for you. Do you feel grounded? Do you avoid the feeling of being in your own body? Are you comfortable with your own body? Like I said, I think women deal with this more than men. And do you avoid or are you weak in dealing with your work, your home, your financial stresses, right? We all have them and we can't avoid them. And we need to learn how to deal with them, and doing that is part of that is being grounded. So that is the root chakra. Okay, let's move on to now the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra, where is it located? This is super important. The sacral chakra is, I'm going to use the front to kind of show you the front of your abdomen, but I want you to think about it from your back perspective. It's centered between the pelvis and your belly button. Okay, so think of your pubic bone and your belly button, and right there in the center of that, that is where your sacral chakra resides. That's where it's at, but it's on the back. It runs along the spine, okay? The sacral chakra represents your lifelong vitality. Oh, wait, we have supplements that are called that. Huh, interesting. Self-gratification and your passion. So passion oil would be a good one for your sacral chakra, right? The associated anatomy with your sacral chakra, this is very interesting, is your sacral vertebrae and your reproductive organs. And for women, my goodness, we are so complicated in our sacral chakra area, right? We are super, super complex beings in our sacral chakra. And I think this is one that we probably deal with a lot of problems of balancing our sacral chakras. Let's talk about the bodily functions of our sacral chakra. Maybe it's blocked and the energy is not flowing the way it should be. Circulation, urinary function, and reproduction is all sacral chakra. The thing that's interesting to know about chakras is that when one of them is blocked, so let's suppose it was your root chakra. So if your root chakra is blocked and not balanced, all the rest of them are going to be closed off and not functioning. So maybe your root chakra is pretty good, but it's your sacral chakra that's your problem. Maybe you've got some female challenges or urinary challenges, reproductive challenges. That's a signal that your sacral chakra is blocked. And so when your sacral chakra is blocked, all the rest of them there on up are again going to be blocked, and you're going to be out of balance and they're not going to function very well. So something to think about, okay? The physical element for the sacral chakra is water. Water is very, very healing, very soothing, very good for us. And the interesting thing is the color is orange. So your sacral chakra is orange. So think about orange vegetables and fruits, and think about wearing color orange, okay? What's really kind of fun, I'm not an orange person, but I have found that I've purchased a lot of orange lately, different shades of orange, and it kind of is my color. I wear orange really well, and so I'm thinking, wow, this might be a signal to me that my sacral chakra has been blocked for a while. Let's talk about the excessive and deficient characteristics, okay? Excessive would be emotional dependency. Codependency, anybody, right? I was codependent with my dog, for crying out loud. So I know that I have this tendency. I know I have this trait. Obsessive attachments to things, to inanimate objects, sexual addictions, spaciness, flightiness, being overly sensitive, having poor boundaries, and mood swings. So you can see how this kind of would play into the female reproductive organ area, right? Our monthly cycles and things like that. The deficient characteristics would be excessive boundaries, emotionally numb. Do you know people like that, where they don't have any emotions? They're just kind of flat. They don't giggle, they don't laugh. They're just unemotional. They don't cry. They just kind of, zombie on through life, right? Rigid behaviors, people who are very rigid and are very not willing to bend or be flexible, a fear of sexuality, a fear of change, lacking passion, poor social skills, and boredom. Those are all indications of a sacral chakra that may be imbalanced. So let's talk about what does a balanced sacral chakra look like, and then we'll move over to the essential oils that we can use to balance the sacral chakra. I would like to ask you to think about what you might be able to use? What oils do you think might support your sacral chakra, knowing what I just told you, okay? I think this is a fun game to play. I love this. So a balanced sacral chakra would be someone who was very graceful in movement, someone who has the ability to embrace change, because life is changing. Every single day is changing. And if we have to adhere to a very rigid plan, and we can't just, kind of go with the flow and change and be okay with that, that's a blocked sacral chakra right there. Your emotional intelligence, the ability to be able to deal with your emotions in an intelligent way, not flying off the handle, right? Being nurturing of yourself and others. And I'm going to stop on this one for a second, because girls, ladies, we are not good to ourselves. We cannot pour from an empty cup. It is impossible to nurture and care for other people, which is what we are called to do as mothers and wives and sisters. We need to have our our cup full, so that we can deal with the challenges that happen to us in our lives every day. To be able to nurture other people, we have to nurture ourselves first. So self-care is super, super important. And if you're not giving yourself good self-care, if you're not taking the time to recover from the daily stresses of life, if you're not taking 5 minutes of downtime in a bubble bath, you need to start doing that. So nurturing of self and others. Having healthy boundaries is a sign of a good sacral chakra. I am really good about boundaries. I used to not be. I worked in corporate America, and we owned a transcription company that I had no boundaries, none whatsoever. And I have become very good at keeping boundaries for myself. And I think that we need to really, really work hard on that, because not having healthy boundaries is what makes us have an empty cup sometimes. Because if we're people pleasers and we're saying yes to everything, then we're not doing ourselves any favors. Another balanced sacral chakra idea is the ability to enjoy pleasure, right? It's okay to have fun and enjoy life. It's truly okay. And it's okay to have pleasure. It's okay to enjoy your chocolate. It's okay to enjoy your cup of coffee. Like my husband tells me, put your creamer in it, Shar. Enjoy your coffee, right? Enjoy the pleasures of life. It's the little things. It really, truly is the little things. And sexual satisfaction is super important. And having a balanced sacral chakra is part of that. It's kind of interesting. I'm not going to go into it. The book does in great detail. The book is called Wheels of Light, and it was written by a gal who used to be a nun and left that service as a nun, and found her calling in this. Very interesting. And learning how to do healing using light therapy and hands-on healing with chakras. So it's very, very interesting, but there is a lot of information in that. And then as well as your passion, your sacral chakra is the seat of passion for you. And so if you're finding that you don't have a whole lot of zeal for life and not a whole lot of passion, of course we have oils to help with that, right? But also you might want to check out your sacral chakra, okay? So as we look at the supporting oils for our sacral chakra, I think it's very, very interesting. Bergamot for comfort, cinnamon for sexual harmony. So make yourself a cup of bergamot tea in the evening when you sit down, after the kids go to bed. Bergamot tea is amazing. So put a little honey in there, some bergamot essential oil, drink your cup of tea and enjoy it. And, it provides comfort for you. And that is part of filling up our cup. Right? We have to keep filling up our cup because we're constantly pouring from our cup. We're dumping it out every day. If we don't put that back in there, we're toast and we're useless. We can't help anybody. We can't nurture. We can't heal. We can't do what we need to do. And in this business, doTERRA, it's a relationship business, and people are going to drain your cup. It's just the way it is. So you need to learn how to fill it back up. This is part of that. Cinnamon is a very, very spicy oil, so that's a sexual harmony oil. Juniper berry for self-acceptance. Interestingly, juniper berry is also one of the oils that supports our urinary productive system. So juniper berry makes sense then that it would be one of the sacral chakra supporting oils. Melaleuca, I think it's so interesting. So when we get UTIs, Melaleuca is one of the oils for that. So I think it's very interesting that it also supports the sacral chakra. This makes so much sense, you guys. How can we deny this? Patchouli for confidence and wild orange for creativity. Isn't that amazing? It's just so beautiful. So I have some questions for you to ponder about your sacral chakra. Do you make room for pleasure in your life? Like I said, it's the little things. For me, it's my cup of coffee with real cream and raw sugar. That is Char's happy place. And I should be able to enjoy that, right? How about chocolate? Chocolate for me, oh my gosh, there is nothing better than a nice little, tidbit nugget of chocolate. Those are the little pleasures that we really need to enjoy. Do you allow yourself to do that? Do you allow yourself to read a book? Read a book. It's so nourishing. It's one of my favorite things. I curl up with a blanket and read. That's how I read the chakra book, and it's 200 pages in like 3 hours. That's my happy place. That's my self-nurturing, my self-care. Can you experience the sacredness of sexuality? Now, I'm not going to, get too much into this, but, Russ told me that he was willing to help me support my chakras. Yeah, that's what he told me. He said, I'll help you support that sacral chakra, Char. Do you have a deep connection to your own needs? Do you know what you need to make sure your cup is full? Have you even thought about it? Sit down and think about it. Write down 20 things that you do for self-care. Right? One of mine, I already told you, that is bubble baths. I like a massage. I like to go get a pedicure. I like to get a manicure. I enjoy a glass of wine. These are things that work for me to fill up my cup. When it's cold and snowy, I bake brownies, and I love brownies and tea. That's my thing, right? So you got to find what works for you. What is it that helps you nurture your own inner needs, girls? Super important. Is your behavior appropriate? Are you respecting the beliefs and boundaries of yourself? Do you have boundaries for yourself? Do you have lines that you will not cross? We need to know what those are, right? That's healthy. Those are healthy boundaries. And we need to know what ours are, and we need to also know what others are also, so that we can also respect their boundaries. That's also another sign of a healthy sacral chakra, when we can respect others' boundaries. Okay, the supporting oils, we went through this, right? I hope you guys were able to write these down. If not, you can always back up and, fast forward and check it out. All right, so let's talk about solar plexus. Solar plexus is very, very interesting, I think. First of all, let's talk about where it's located. So it's above your belly button. I like to say the area where your ribs come together, right underneath your breastbone right there. That is where your sacral chakra, or solar plexus, is located. Your solar plexus chakra is right there. And I'm sorry, I'm mixing up my words. I'm super, super pooped. This time change and all my travel has just beat me. And so I'm trying to fill up my cup. That's what I've been working on today. I'm filling my cup back up. That's why I made brownies. All right. So the solar plexus chakra is located just above your belly button, and it's in between that bone. So, in women, we get that intuition, the gut feeling. It's the solar plexus chakra. That's what's talking to you. When my kids were in, when they were younger, they're grown adults now, but when they were in their teenage years, my solar plexus was very overactive. I always had these gut feelings that they were in trouble, or needed help. That is that solar plexus chakra talking to you. Listen to it. Get in tune with your intuitive self. That's part of it, okay? So what the solar plexus chakra represents is willpower. motivation, desire, your get up and go, your will to act, your vitality, and your sense of personal power. That is a very special, powerful place. I did a talk on Saturday, and I always do this when I'm talking. I'm going to stand up on my chair so you can see right here, this place right here, right there. That is where your seat of desire lives. And your seat of desire is very important to your success in your doTERRA business if you're doing this as a business. Actually, to your success in life. Because if we don't have that burning desire right there, that little, it's your feeling in your gut. That's it right there. That is so important and so vital. And so if you're lacking in that area, it is going to affect everything else in your life. Everything else in your life is going to really, really severely be impacted by that. The associated anatomy with this is fascinating. It's pancreas. It's like very vital organs, right? Pancreas, liver, spleen, stomach, and lower back muscles. Anybody ever get tight lower back? And they say that's where we hold our stress, right? It's this. It's the solar plexus chakra, and it's sending you signals. That back pain, that's a signal to you that you're not in balance, right? The bodily functions that are affected by this, I'm telling you, this one's big. This is a big deal. The bodily functions that are affected by your solar plexus chakra is metabolism and digestion. How many people do we know that have digestive issues? It's a big deal. It's a big part of it. Lower back pain, digestive issues, slow metabolism or fast metabolism. Both of those are affected by your solar plexus chakra. So very interesting. The color is yellow. It kind of looks like a chartreuse to me, I think. And this is another color that I have a lot of in my closet. I find this very, very interesting that the orange of the sacral chakra and the chartreuse or the yellowy green of the solar plexus are two of the colors that I wear most often, although I have purple on right now, but that's because this is doTERRA. doTERRA time, so I have on my doTERRA sweatshirt. But anyway, let's talk about the excessive and deficient characteristics of this. And again, the idea here is to be balanced, right? So maybe some days we're off more to the deficient side and some days we're off more to the excessive. The idea is to balance it and not have too much here and not too much there, okay? The excessive characteristics are dominating, controlling, arrogant, competitive, hyperactive, egotistical, stubborn, and workaholic. I might have quite a few of those. That might be why this color is my color. It's very interesting. The deficient characteristics are fear of being alone. I don't have that fear. I value my alone time like nobody's business. Victim mentality. So if you're that martyr victim kind of a person, lacking in confidence, poor digestion, always feeling disliked, passiveness, lack of energy, and being jealous. Those are signs of an imbalanced solar plexus. So let's take a look at what a balanced solar plexus might look like. Okay, this would be a healthy, balanced solar plexus. Responsible and reliable, good self-discipline, right? The ability to say no and walk away from things that we know are not good for us, right? A positive sense of self, so knowing that you are God's created being. He put you here on earth. You have a reason to be on earth. You have self-worth. He loves you. Your family loves you. This is a good sense of self-worth, right? Confidence, warm, being a warm person, being energetic, having good energy, right? Spontaneous, playful, humorous, and feeling like you are willing and able to take risks. Because you know what? God calls us to be people that are constantly growing and changing. He doesn't want us to stay just, in this square box right here. He wants you to take risks and go live your life and go experience life and be in the world and be there for other people. And so if we have all these deficient and excessive characteristics, we're not being that person, right? So what oils do we think we could use to help support our solar plexus? What do you think? Citrus bliss. That's one of everyone's favorites, right? It's orange creamsicle oil. That one is going to help you support your creativeness. That's what I mean. We need to be out there growing and changing and being creative people. Coriander for self-loyalty, like discipline, right? The only person that suffers when you're not disciplined is you. So you need to learn some self-discipline. Oregano for non-attachment. This is one that we really had a lot of discussion about on Saturday, because people are like, what does non-attachment mean? It means not being codependent is what it means. It means loving people enough to let them go. Loving people and not being obsessed with where they are and what they're doing at every single given moment of the day. I might have had some non-attachment issues when my kids were in high school, because I was the helicopter parent, right? I always needed to know where they were, what they were doing. Non-attachment is, this is the story that I like to use about non-attachment. This phone right here, phone, if you drop it in the toilet, what is going to happen to your daily life? Are you going to lose your bananas? Are you just going to lose it? Are you just going to go absolutely nuts and post it all over social media how tragic it is that you dropped your cell phone in the toilet? Really? It's just a phone. At the end of the day, it's just a stinking phone. So now you've caused this huge fight or flight reaction in your body. You had a huge cortisol release in your body that's disrupting your metabolism and all of your hormones, all over a silly cell phone. That's attachment, okay? We need to be unattached to things. Like you get in a car accident and you're devastated that your car is trashed, when you should be excited that you're alive and all the people weren't injured. That's more important than the car, right? So it's becoming unattached, and oregano is the oil of non-attachment. It's very interesting. I needed this when my little wiener dog passed away, because I was so friggin' codependent on her that I went into this huge mourning for months after she passed. I still am in mourning over it. It's so weird. I had guilt because I was actually sleeping at night and not waking up with her, because for like the last 6 months of her life on this earth, she cried and was very, very upset at night. She had doggy dementia, canine cognitive dysfunction, and she was a hot mess at night. The only time she would sleep is if I laid on the floor with her. So I slept on the floor with her for 6 months. And then after she passed and I didn't have to do that anymore and I slept through the night, I would wake up in the morning and feel guilty. That was an unhealthy attachment to my sweet little wiener dog. And I'm not saying that that was wrong, but the ability to detach yourself from it is healthy. Cedar wood for community, for a sense of community. Ginger for empowerment. If you're feeling unempowered, get out your ginger oil, put it in the diffuser, maybe with something like frankincense. That would be beautiful. And then lime. Lime is your zest for life oil. I love lime. I use it every day. It's my happy place. But I also use it to support my respiratory function. That's why I use lime every day. But I love it. Lime is amazing. Okay, so let's move on to our next one. We're going to move from the solar plexus on up. What do you think is the next one? Heart chakra. Oh, love, love, love heart chakra. And interesting, the heart chakra is green. Isn't that fun? And someone pointed out to me, I was like, why is it green? And they said, because red and green are complementary colors. So now that makes sense. And green is the it's life, right? Green is about life. It's about living things. All of the things that are on earth are green, right? Plants and grass and trees and leaves, they're green. So it kind of represents life in a way, right? It's very cool. Very, very cool. All right. So where would you think the heart chakra would be? Kind of easy, right? In the heart area, right? In the center of your chest. That's your heart chakra. And it represents self-acceptance and loving. And I think it's interesting that self-acceptance is number one. You know why? This is what I believe. And I've done some research on this, but I believe this with my whole heart. God asked us to, above all other things, to love one another, to love others as He loved us, to love others as we love ourselves. And if we don't love ourselves, how can we love other people? We have to, it starts at home, right? We have to be thankful of who we are and love ourselves so that we can then love other people. It's super important. So I think that's very interesting about the heart chakra. The associated anatomy, oh my goodness, listen to this, you guys. The associated anatomy is your thymus and lymph glands, heart, obviously, rib cage, lungs, skin, arms, and hands. A lot of systems are affected by our heart chakra, right? Or a faulty heart chakra, depending on the situation. And the bodily functions, this makes sense, okay? So one of the main bodily functions from heart chakra is circulation. So our circulatory system, because that's what our heart does. It controls our circulatory system, right? And then our immune system. So the heart chakra also is related to our immune system. So if we have a deficient or an excessive heart chakra, we could be unhealthy. There's a very good chance that our immune system is compromised because we have a sad heart. Think about when older people pass away, like they're married and one of the couple passes away, the other one typically gets sick right away and passes pretty quickly right after that. It's very, very common for that, right? And, you know, they say you can't die from a broken heart, but people actually do. It's actually for real that people can die of a broken heart. So the color is green. And what's really super interesting about the heart chakra is these excessive characteristics. Think about this. Focusing on others. You're overly focused on what everybody else is doing. Super, super concerned about keeping up with the Joneses, or very nosy about your neighbors, or very concerned about what everybody else has going on, right? Having poor boundaries, being a people pleaser, because that hurts your heart, because people are going to disappoint you. So people pleasing is not a good idea, you guys, and I'm talking from experience, okay? Being a martyr. Nobody loves a martyr. Passive aggressive is bad. Do not go there. It is not healthy. It hurts your heart, right? And jealousy. Jealousy is definitely an emotion of the heart for sure, right? Deficient characteristics is lack of empathy. We need to be empathetic to others. We need to be empathetic to their situation. You do not know what's going on in someone's world. You cannot judge on that. You don't know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know what they're dealing with. Just because their social media page is all la, 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 roses and, you know, everything is great, you don't know. You don't know what's going on in their world. So stop judging, right? A fear of intimacy. Some people have walls, right? They've built these big, huge walls up here, and they don't want anybody getting in. They're like, nope, not letting you in. Nope, nope, nope. And having very few friends is kind of a fear of intimacy. Being antisocial goes right into that same category, right? When you're antisocial, when you're a loner, you have fear of intimacy. This is a deficient heart chakra, right? Because God calls us into community. He wants us to be a part of a community. We are communal people. We need other people in our lives. It's so, so crucial. Maybe somebody who's extra critical, right? Super, super critical, judgmental people. It's a deficient heart chakra. And I have some questions for you. So first we'll talk about, what does a balanced heart chakra look like? Okay, it's so simple to think about this. Caring, compassionate, empathetic, accepting, self-loving, peaceful, and centered. Those are all characteristics of a nice balanced heart chakra, okay? But I have some questions for you, right? Think about this, and then I'll show you what oils. Are you communicating from the heart, right? Because I feel like when our communication comes from our heart, it comes from within, and it comes from a place of love. People know, they can sense that. They know when it's coming from your heart and when it's not. Do you love your body, no matter the size or form? Women, girls, friends, do you love your body? We need to quit being so hard on ourselves, right? Because that's a heart chakra issue. And do you listen to your body and give it what it needs in the form of rest, relaxation, nutrition, exercise? Are you? Your body needs it. And do you have healthy spiritual religious practices like prayer and meditation? This is a really, really important aspect of a healthy heart chakra, because we need to have a healthy spiritual life, whatever that means for you. For me, it means that I'm involved in small group, and it means that I read my Bible, and it means that I do small group studies, and it means that I am in community with other Christian-centered people. That's what my spiritual religious life looks like. And I feel it's pretty healthy. I think I can always do better. We can always do better. Everybody can do better. But I feel like it's pretty good right now. So ask yourself that question. And then here's the final one, okay? Do you allow yourself to be loved? Do you allow yourself to love? Because I know this. I don't want to get emotional. It's very, very, very painful to love people. It's extremely hard to love people, because people are, well, we're human, and we disappoint people, and sometimes people die, right? And it's very, very difficult. And so I think that sometimes we close ourselves off, and we don't love, and we're not willing to love, and we don't want to put the love out there, because loving hurts. It hurts sometimes when we love people, right? So I want to challenge you in that. I want to ask you to be loving and learn to love yourself, first of all, because you can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. So you need to love yourself and be kind to you, but you also need to reach out and let people in. Just love. Just love. Building relationships is good and healthy. It's one of the things that we're called to do. All right, the supporting oils for the heart chakra. Look at these. They're good. Elevation. Everybody loves elevation. And lemon is cleansing. So sometimes we need to cleanse the pain and cleanse the hurts and open up our heart. And thyme for forgiveness. And I think we could put forgive oil in this, right? I think we could add forgive to this. There was that amazing study that I can't remember which university's medical center did it, but they gave forgive and had the caretakers in the facility use forgive oil. Well, they used all of the emotional oils, but the one that had the biggest impact on patient care, because the care workers themselves were feeling better emotionally, was the forgive essential oil blend. That's just fascinating to me, right? And then geranium. Geranium is the oil of love and trust. And a lot of people don't like it. I love geranium, and it's one of my, I like geranium and ylang ylang with fractionated coconut oil. And I do more ylang ylang than geranium, because geranium is kind of strong and powerful as a smell, but it's beautiful in perfume. So if you don't like it, put it on the bottom of your feet and use it anyway, right? It's the essential oil of love and trust. And I like to put it in my lotion. I slather that stuff on every day. Drives us crazy. He's like, oh, I don't like geranium. Oh, well, I do. I love it. And melaleuca again. So melaleuca is a very chakra supporting oil, this time for boundaries. Very interesting. And then Dr. Hill's favorite, peppermint, is the oil of the buoyant heart. In other words, it's a good heart opening oil. It just helps us feel love more than we did, right? It's the buoyant heart. A buoyant heart is a heart that's just floating and full of love and joy. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. Don't you love it? So awesome. All right, so let's move on to the throat chakra. Okay, so now we're almost to the top. We're moving our way up. The throat chakra is located where? In the throat. That one's kind of funny. I think it amuses me, right? I'm amusing myself. The throat chakra, it represents self-communication or self-expression and communication. So that is what the throat chakra represents. When you're doing yoga, they actually focus a lot on the chakras and you don't even know it. It's a part of yoga. It's really interesting. We do a lot of heart open, things. We're up and open like this. And we also do a lot of head leaning back, and that's opening your throat chakra. That's why we do this. And it's super healthy. So we'll go into this. The associated anatomy, can you imagine what it is with throat chakra? Think about all this right in here, right? It's thyroid, parathyroid, esophagus, neck, shoulders, arms, and hands. And so it's like this, and it just goes on down all the way into your arms and out your hands. Okay, that's your throat chakra. What I think is interesting is that where do we carry a lot of tension besides our low back? Okay, so some people are low back tension carriers. Me, it's right here. Right in here is where I carry all that tension. And it goes down, and then it goes down into my back, right? So it's just interesting to think about this. Okay, so now let's think about the bodily function that's affiliated with the throat chakra. This is so bizarre. Hearing. So if you're having difficulties hearing, you might have a blocked throat chakra, especially if you have selective hearing. Selective hearing. Rosie's sitting over here just like shaking his head at me. I'm sorry. I'm having fun. Okay, so the color for the throat chakra. I'm having trouble with my throat chakra. The interesting color with the throat chakra is blue or turquoise. It's a very pretty color. It's very beautiful. And so now we're going to take a look at the excessive and deficient characteristics, right? Because we're trying to be in balance. So think about this. If you have difficulty being silent, if you're talking inappropriately, excessive loudness. So if you're one of those people that people are always like, whoa, that's loud. Talking too much, stuttering, gossiping. Those are all excessive throat chakra characteristics. Very, very interesting. The deficient characteristics are fear of speaking. So it's kind of the opposite, right? Or difficulty speaking, or speaking weakly. Excessive shyness, being secretive, and tone deaf. Very, very interesting that the throat chakra is related to the ears, right? And this is why I think this is true, okay? God gave us 2 of these and 1 of these. And so we need to keep that in mind. And if we keep this in balance, 2 of these and 1 of these, and we listen more than we speak when we're with other people, we will keep that throat chakra in balance, okay? It's super important to focus on that. So now that we've seen the deficient and excessive, what do you think a balanced throat chakra might look like? How about a resonant full voice, right? We're not weak and soft and crackly. That's pretty weak right there. That's not balanced. The ability to clearly communicate with others, okay? So this is sometimes a challenge, and I think it's a bigger challenge in society today because we rely on text and email. And so it's really difficult to get across what you're trying to get across in a text. Anybody ever have an issue with that? Am I the only one that people miss what I'm saying when I text, even though I send emojis, right? So it's really important that we learn how to clearly communicate. And I still believe the best way to do that is to pick up the phone and call. That's the very best way to not have someone misunderstand what it is that you're trying to say. The other thing is you need to have good communication with yourself. Okay, so we need to be honest with ourselves. I was doing our Bible study. We are doing this, it's called Follow, with our small group. And so I was doing my Bible study earlier today. That was one of the things that it talked about, being honest with yourself, right? Good self-communication. Don't fool yourself. Be honest with yourself, right? How about being a good listener, right? I said 2 of these, 1 of these. So the idea is in helping, when you're listening to somebody else in a conversation and you're asking the questions and then you shut up and you let them talk, that is just being polite. And it's a really healthy thing to do because it also makes the other person feel important, right? And that's just nice. It's just a good thing to help other people feel important. A good sense of timing and rhythm in your voice, right? You're not just nonstop rambling. Having a good sense of timing and rhythm, being able to live your life creatively, right? Being creative is it's funny and interesting that each of these chakras, have you noticed, has had something in it about being creative. I think that's very, very intriguing. I know that when I worked my corporate job, I had a really big struggle with creativity. I really, really had a hard time being creative. And just like in the last 12 months or so, all of a sudden, I have so much creative energy. Do I not? It's like one of the things, and I'm a very creative person, but I think I had stifled it, and I had that chakra that was blocked, and I've been doing all of these things to help open that up, and all of a sudden, I'm very, very creative. My creative juices are flowing like crazy, and I love it. It feels so good to live in that place again. When I was a kid, I was very creative, and then, like I said, you do life, and life happens, and if you're not in tune with it, you stifle it. You just stifle those creative juices, and it's just healthy to feel creativity again. Okay, so now we know what a balanced throat chakra looks like. Let's see which oils we're going to use to support it, and I will also ask you some questions. Okay, these questions are kind of like, whoa, kind of crazy. The supporting oils for throat chakra are basil for renewing, right? Because we need to renew. We need to be fresh and new. Black pepper for releasing anything that's holding us back from speaking our truth, right? Cilantro is about releasing control. So this is something that I did too recently. I just let go of it all. Anything that is not in my control. The only thing that I can control in this world is me and my actions. And when I did that, I have found so much peace and joy. It's just crazy, the level of peace and joy that I have recently in my life because of letting go, releasing control. And I use a lot of cilantro, so I think that's very interesting. Ginger for empowerment, again, right? This is about empowering. Frankincense to encourage truth. And lavender for communication. I did not know that about lavender. I did not know that lavender was the oil of communication. That's really, really interesting to me. So I have some questions for you. I love these questions, right? These questions are like, oh my gosh, I need to think about this, right? So the first question is, do you speak your truth? Do you allow yourself to speak your truth? Are you being you? I am. I've learned to just be me, and it's okay. But we need to learn to speak our truth, right? And sometimes speaking your truth is really hard. Sometimes it is painful to speak our truth. Sometimes it feels easier to not say anything at all than to speak our truth. But you know what? Again, God calls us to speak our truth. He absolutely does. And we need to practice this, even though it's hard. And I feel like when you speak your truth and you have a good heart, your heart chakra is in balance, people know this. They can feel it, right? They know. So when you're speaking your truth and you're in good heart chakra balance, it's okay. It's okay to do that, right? Are you a good listener? Are you a good listener? I think everybody can work on this. I know I can. We all need to work on being a good listener, right? Are you conscious of what you are saying to yourself as well as to others? Because, you know, there is unwritten, unspoken communication that happens every single day with people around you. And so what is it that you're sending out? What message are you sending out? What message are you telling yourself? What you say inside your brain about you is actually what happens inside of you. And people see that on the outside too. So it's really important to make sure that you are speaking your truth to yourself, right? Be honest with yourself and be good to yourself. I can't say that enough. Be good to yourself, because you need to love on you so that you can love on other people. Do you have trouble keeping secrets? You know, when someone tells you a secret, are you the person you just can't stand it? You have to share with everybody else? Are you that person? Don't be that person. Oh, I will tell you the name of the book and the author here in just a minute. I'll get it out of my closet. It's in my closet. Do you know when not to say something? You know, speaking our truth is great, but sometimes it's really better just not to say anything at all, right? Here's how I feel about this topic. If what you have to say is hurtful to the other person and is not going to do any good and it's going to do harm, then don't bother. Why bother? Why bother even putting it out there? Even if it is the truth, right? You don't have to say everything, okay? So that is the throat chakra. I love it. I think it's very, very, very interesting. And I think it's even more interesting how they're all related. And so you can see how when you work on one that's blocked, all of the others fall into alignment. It's kind of like chiropractic. Anybody ever get a chiropractic adjustment? And they go in and they pop you here and crack you there and bend you this way and that way. And then everything kind of falls into alignment. That's the same thing with your chakras. And it's very interesting also that they run along the spine. So they go hand in hand. Hold on. I'm going to get that book really quickly because I don't want to forget. And I will forget. So get it really quick. Okay, you can get this book on Amazon. I think it's about $14.95 or something like that. It's called Wheels of Light. It's backwards. Wheels of Light, and it's written by Rosalind Bruyere. She's a French woman, and she has lots of research in here. There's lots of scripture and biblical backing in here, which I find just very, very intriguing. So it's a great read. It's a great read. And like I said, I did it in an afternoon. I loved it. I could hardly put it down. Such good information. Okay, so we have 2 more to go, and then we'll be done. All right, and it's not moving now. Here we go. The third eye is the next chakra. So where is the third eye? We've heard lots and lots of people talk about this. Third eye, right here, center of the forehead. Doink, 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 doink. You ever do that to yourself? Doink, doink, doink. I rub cedarwood essential oil on my third eye every night before I go to bed because my third eye is what keeps me up at night. It's wide awake. It won't close down. It's very overactive. And so cedarwood on my third eye helps me quiet my brain. We're going to see why that is here when we're talking about this. Okay, so the location is center of the forehead. It represents self-reflection and knowing, okay? The associated anatomy is just, it's crazy. The associated anatomy with the third eye and for self-reflection and knowing is the pituitary gland, the left brain, the left eye, the nose, ears, sinuses, and the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is what won't let us go to sleep at night, that keeps us awake. So when I put cedarwood on my third eye, it quiets my subconscious mind, right? The bodily functions, this is just fascinating. Endocrine system, neurological system, and small muscle control. Big stuff. This is big. It's the endocrine system, which controls everything in our whole body. It controls our sympathetic and parasympathetic, and the neurological system controls everything, right? So this is a big one. This is a big, big, big deal. And the color is indigo. So it's kind of a really deep, dark blue, like blue jeans, dark blue, kind of almost black in a weird way, right? Blue-black. That's the color for the third eye. So let's talk about the excessive characteristics for a minute. Difficulty concentrating, excessive fantasizing, intrusive memories, hallucinations, nightmares, obsessions. That's an overactive third eye. Deficient characteristics are you can't see alternatives, like there's no other option, just one option. And you know what, in life, there's always another way. There's always another way to get around doing things. Excessive skepticism, lack of imagination, difficulty visualizing, insensitivity, and denial. So those are deficient characteristics. I like to think of the third eye as your intuition, your discernment. So those are a couple of the things that play into that third eye. Let's look at what a balanced third eye might look like, okay? I always feel so weird saying third eye, but that's what it is, right? So it's the insight into the brain, right? It's the subconscious mind. It's the intuition, the discernment. That's what your third eye is. So what does a balanced third eye look like? Strong intuition, right? You have the ability to say, okay, so if I make this choice and I go down this road, this is the result that's going to happen, right? So you can line these things up. It's a good, healthy intuition. Penetrating insight. So your ability to be able to look at a situation and have insight into it, why you should or why you shouldn't make a decision and do things. Creative imagination, being creative and having a good imagination is a healthy third eye. A good memory, good dream recall. How many of us dream and we don't think we dream because we don't remember it? Remembering your dreams is actually really healthy. It's really good for you to remember your dreams. The ability to visualize. So you have to be able to put something into a picture in your mind from words, the ability to visualize, or the ability to dream, right? The ability to visualize your dream, to dream big, to have the thought, you know, to say, I see myself as presidential diamond in the next 2 years. I know it's going to happen. It's there. I see it in my brain every single day. So the ability to have that vision, right, in your mind. And having a guiding vision for your life, right? A plan, a goal, a dream. That's having a healthy third eye, right? So let's look at the oils that are supporting for the third eye, and then I will ask you the questions, okay? So I think this is very interesting. Melissa essential oil is one of the most expensive oils. It's not the most expensive anymore now that we have rose and jasmine. Hello. But it's one of the most expensive essential oils. And it's a beautiful flower, so, so pretty, and it dispels darkness. It's a white, beautiful flower. So of course it dispels darkness, right? It's, oh my gosh, I love Melissa. I had to grow to love Melissa, but I love Melissa. How about lemon? Lemon is for focus and it's very uplifting, so that makes sense. And we had lemon in a couple of other chakras, didn't we? So that's why using lemon essential oil every day is really, really healthy for us. Rosemary for knowledge. When I was in yoga teacher training, oh my goodness, I am 54 years old and the next oldest person was 25. Yep, that was me. 26 days of intensive yoga teacher training with 25-year-olds. And you know what? It was an amazing experience. I grew so much and learned so much, and I have such a huge appreciation for that generation. They are brilliant, brilliant. And my gosh, if I hadn't had my rosemary essential oil, I could not have remembered from one day to the next. Seriously, rosemary saved my buns in yoga school. Not exaggerating. I used it every day along with peppermint when we were learning all of the postures. So that makes sense for me, rosemary. Third eye, rosemary, knowledge. Sandalwood for divine devotion. Sandalwood is a beautiful essential oil. Clary sage for vision and clarity. And again, I use clary sage almost every single day. It's in my oil bag that goes in my purse. I love the way it smells. So beautiful. And again, here we go with juniper berry. Juniper berry is for wholeness. It's a round little berry like, it comes off the juniper plant. So those little berries that come off of the plant, that's where we get juniper oil from. And I think the berry, the roundness, the wholeness of it, and it's helping you have whole and completeness in your life. Juniper berry. And again, this is another one that has been in a couple of these chakras, right? Juniper. Very, very interesting to me. Okay, so now for the questions. Are you ready? All right. Do you have difficulty focusing? Yeah, difficulty focusing over here for sure. Do you have difficulty telling the difference between what is real and what is not? Okay, so that would be somebody with super strong fantasies that can't decipher between the two. Do you have difficulty looking at things differently? So a healthy third eye is the ability to be able to see 2 points of view. Right? So you go, well, you know what? I don't like your point of view, but I can understand why you feel that way. But I'm sticking with mine. So the ability to be able to see things in a different light, I think, is really important. And difficulty visualizing a plan. So someone who has a really hard time sitting down and making a plan, writing down your goals, making a plan, going forward. That is a healthy third eye. Okay. We're on the last one, crown chakra. Let's talk about crown chakra. And I'm always like, yep, it's right there. I see it. It's all sparkly and brilliant and glowing. My crown is right there. If I could wear, I would have loved to have lived during the time that women wore tiaras. I would have been a happy girl every day to put on my tiara, my crown. Anyway, so obviously the crown is on the top of the head. I like to say that it's right here. You know where your soft spot is, where all of the sutures in your brain when you were a little baby and they all grew together, that place right there. And it's kind of sensitive, right? If you touch it, kind of feels good, right? When I get my hair shampooed at the hair salon, I love it. I love it when she hits that spot. That's your crown chakra. That's where it comes from. So it represents self-knowledge, self-will, as well as divine connection. Okay, so this is where a divine connection comes from, okay? The associated anatomy, again, is just fascinating. It's the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the cerebral cortex, the cerebrum, right eye, and right brain. Okay, so it's the opposite side from what we were looking at with the third eye. The bodily functions, again, these are big ones, just like the pineal, big bodily functions, and the heart. Big bodily functions, the central nervous system, the subconscious mind, and large muscle control. Okay, so I've been wondering, because I have bad balance and I fell a lot. I've had a lot of trip and fall incidents, and I'm wondering if it's because my crown chakra was out of balance. For real, seriously, because that's large muscle control, right? And the color is violet, so it's very purple color. So the excessive and deficient characteristics, dissociation from body, spiritual addiction, over-intellectualization, excessive attachment, confusion, okay? The deficient characteristics would be rigid belief systems. So like it's your way or the highway, you know, there's no in between. Spiritual cynicism, learning difficulties, being closed-minded, and apathetic. Those are all suggestions of an imbalanced crown chakra. So let's look at what a balanced crown chakra might look like. A good, healthy spiritual connection, okay? So not excessive one way or the other. Wisdom and mastery. So you understand wisdom and you have mastery of skills. Intelligence and presence. Open-mindedness and the ability to question things, right? That's a really, really good quality to have, is to question things and have an open mind to see the viewpoints of others. The ability to assimilate and analyze information. So that's a good, healthy crown chakra. So let's look at the oils that will support our crown chakra. That would be Melissa again. So in the pituitary gland, it dispels darkness. In the third eye, it dispels darkness. In the crown chakra, it brings in light. And it's because these flowers are just beautiful and open and kind of loving. And then we have purify for purification, which totally makes sense. Purification is a very spiritual thing, right? Frankincense to connect to the divine. Frankincense is one of the essential oils that has been used in the church for thousands of years. So it makes sense that it supports a healthy crown chakra. And again, we have sandalwood again, for sacred devotion. This one is interesting, Zendocrine oil for transition. So maybe you're transitioning in a difficult place. Maybe you're moving. Transition is moving, right? Maybe you're transitioning from one job to another. Maybe you're moving from one house to another. Zendocrine oil is very good for that. And then wintergreen. Wintergreen is the oil of surrender. I think this is very interesting. I am not a wintergreen fan. It's too powerful for me, way too strong, but it is the oil of surrendering. Very intriguing, very, very intriguing. So are we ready for the questions? Let's do the questions. All right, so these are questions to ask about your crown chakra. Do you overthink things? Maybe I do overthink things just a little bit sometimes, right? Do you have a hard time turning your brain off? Maybe. It's possible that's me, right? Are you closed-minded? I'm actually not. I'm very, very, very open-minded. My son has helped me with this over the years. I'm very open-minded. Are you rigid in your belief systems? I don't think so. I think I'm very, very open with my belief systems. And do you feel disconnected from spirituality? I do not. I do not. I feel very, very connected to spirituality. And I'm perfectly content and happy in that. But I think they're very interesting questions, right? I mean, isn't this just amazing? It's so, so intriguing to me. So we have a couple more slides and then we'll be done and you can go on with your evening, and I appreciate all of you being here with me. But I have a note for you on the oils to support and balance your chakra, okay? So a few more housekeeping items here that are super, super important, so we don't want to overlook them. You need to make sure, obviously, that your oils are pure and not synthetic. Thank you, doTERRA. Check doTERRA, right? So it makes no sense to run down to Whole Foods and get your now oils and think you're going to use them to balance your chakras, because they're not going to work, right? So it's very important what you use, what oils you use. So I recommend doTERRA. Of course I do, but it's because I know that we have the purest, highest quality essential oils that have been sourced from all over the world and have been lab tested. So I know this. doTERRA is where it's at. Okay. When you're doing chakra balancing, part of it is having a strong will to do it. You have to have the will to let go of and release those negative emotions that are affiliated with the chakra. Okay, super important, because if you're closed-minded, it's not going to work, right? So you got to have an open mind in this. So the other thing is the oils obviously are easy to apply. It doesn't take much. You can put a drop in your hands and you can inhale it while you're focusing and concentrating on the chakra area that you're trying to unblock, okay? It's not difficult, but you have to be very intentional and energetically involved in the process, okay? You're going to start clearing your chakras from the root all the way up, okay? So we're going to start at the root, and we're just going to assume that we're all kind of imbalanced in all of them, because I think we are. And you're going to start at the root, and you're going to use the oils for the root chakra to support the emotions that we went over that you need help with, okay? Because we all don't have the same things. We're all created very differently. We all have different energies. We all have different health issues and things that we deal with, emotions. So use the oils to support your choice, and start at your root chakra, and then gradually, as you're feeling better and better and better, work your way all the way up to the top. This is a really good thing that we need to do, whether or not we're working on our chakras, irregardless of whether we're working on our chakras. We need to make it a point to think high vibrational, energetic, loving, and graceful thoughts about ourselves, about other people, about the world in general, because the energy that we have here and we put out here is very powerful. We have the power to change so many things, and we can harness that power intentionally. I would like to ask you to be sure to say nice things about yourself and other people around you, okay? It's really easy in this really negative, nasty world that we live in, that is full of, instant media, right? We hear everything immediately when things happen, and we hear everything negative that happens. And so it's so easy for us to fall prey to all the negative stuff out there. And it's really important that we try to block it out as much as possible, okay? And you can do this. You can do this. Just, you don't need to worry about it. God He's numbered every hair on our head. He knows when it's our time. And when it's our time, it'll be our time. And so we just need to live right now for today in peace and joy and love. And everything else will be okay and fall into place. You need to make the process of healing your chakras very intentional and special, okay? So it's a special thing. We're not just going to run through this. You're going to take dedicated time every day, maybe 10 or 15 minutes to really focusing and intentionally going about this. And I want you to take a moment while you're doing this to really feel what in your chakra is out of balance and which one it is that's out of balance. And as you do this and you practice it, you will be able to become skilled at this. You'll become very aware of your own body. I'm very aware of my own body. I know what's going on in there. And so I'm able to, assess myself and kind of go, oh, all right, I think you need some balance today. So balance and passion were my oils today. I needed centering and grounding, and I needed passion, okay? So some supportive habits for balancing your chakras are to pray and meditate, okay? It's very, very powerful, very, very, very powerful. And I do both, and I don't do them at the same time. They're very different practices, meditation and praying. Eat a rainbow of healthy, organic plant foods, the same colors as the chakras. It's very intriguing that this is the way it is, right? But what we need for our bodies to be healthy are the colors of all the plants that are in the chakras. So lots of good, rich, colorful, leafy vegetables and plants. Really good for us. Drink lots of water. I've got my water sitting here. I try to drink 2 of these a day. And when I'm really thirsty, I might drink 2.5 or 3. It holds 32 ounces. So drink your water. Your body is made of water. It's like 70% water. You need lots of water. Might be even 80% water. I know it's a lot. So be sure and drink lots of water. The next one, get enough sleep, which is really hard when we have time change, because our animals and our kids get us up at crazy hours because they don't understand the time change. But get lots of rest. They say that you need at least 8 hours of sleep a night. Minimum 8 hours of sleep. So if you're not getting 8 hours, you are sleep deprived. And you're just not going to be yourself. It's hard to be you when you're sleep deprived. Exercise and practice yoga, right? It's really, really good for you. let go of negative and non-productive emotions. You have no need for those negative emotions. Get rid of them, let go of them, whatever you have to do that. I woke up this morning on the wrong side of the bed for sure. And I had to do some stuff to change my attitude. And it took me a little while, but I did it, right? So when you're aware of it, you can actually make it happen. Get a daily dose of fresh air and sunshine, even when it's only 30 degrees outside. We walked Cleo today and we're all like, oh my gosh, it's so cold. But we all needed it, all three of us. We needed a nice, good walkie. Use your essential oils. Don't be afraid of them. Use them. They are so good. Use chemical-free products, because the chemicals that we put on our skin end up inside our body, and it clogs our cells, and it causes all sorts of disease in our bodies. So use chemical-free products. Listen to high vibrational music, whatever that is for you. I love music. Honestly, for me, it doesn't matter what kind of music it is, but we typically have music going on during the day here in the house. That's my thing. I love music. And remember the power of color in your daily routines. Wear the chakra colors that need balancing. So, for example, if you're not feeling grounded, wear a red shirt. That represents the root chakra, and it's very grounding. So it's very interesting, but when you start paying attention to it, you'll see what I'm talking about, right? So that is the chakra class. I just have a couple more things to note. Just remember that your energy follows thought. Thoughts are things. They are real, live, living, breathing things. And so the things that are in your brain that you think about become where your energy goes, right? Where your mind goes, your energy flows. You've ever heard that one? Energy follows thought. So be very, very cautious about the things that you think and the things that you let penetrate your mind, because it will control you. And that's what will determine your life. It's a big deal. It really is a big deal. All right, so one more note. We have 20% off enrollments this month. So, and Russ and I are just contemplating, we're trying to put it together. I've got to get my creative juices going tomorrow. But there is a 20% off enrollments this month, and I think that Russ and I are going to begin a special for, if you enroll one person, we're going to, well, I'll tell you what I'm not going to tell you what it's all about, because we were talking about it today. I just have to put the fine details together, but there's a special coming your way. So kind of like sharing and enroll one person. Anybody who enrolls one person is going to get some really special treatment. That's all I'm going to tell you. So watch for that. We'll be releasing that very soon. But these are the kits that are on sale this month. This is huge. doTERRA has not done this ever in the history of the company. So this is super, super, super exciting. And so we really want you to learn to share with other people. Our moms told us it's really good idea to share, right? So we want to share the beauty of all of these oils and products. And we're going to encourage you to do that by enticing you to share with one person. So every person who enrolls one person is going to get a really cool special gift coming. I'm going to announce it, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how my day goes tomorrow. All right. And then last but not least, we have a very special person on our team, Karin Haiti, who is participating in Diamond Club. And if you have folks that are around Colorado Springs area that you would like to help get enrolled, get a hold of Karin, and she would love to share these beautiful products with them. She's in her last month of Diamond Club. She is graduating this month, and we want to help her get 18 enrollments. So if you guys can reach out to her and send your enrollments to her, I would appreciate it, and I know she would appreciate it too. So thank you very much. I appreciate everyone joining me tonight, and I am going to, as soon as this processes, and I know it's a long one, but as soon as it gets finished processing through the Zoom, I'm going to load it up to our YouTube Russ N. Shar. So it's Russ, letter N, Shar Brown on YouTube, and it will be there that you can share this with other people that you think would be interested in it. I think it's very interesting. It's very intriguing, and I love it, and I'm glad that I had all of you join me, and I appreciate it. Let me know how we can support you, and we will see you again next week at the same time, 6:30, same time, same Zoom channel. All right, have a great and productive week. Talk to you later. Bye.